Hello! I haven't done one of these videos for a very long time, but I felt inspired yesterday, so I made a list of funky phrasal verbs. Yes, I know, funky is spelt with an F, but PH is also pronounced F. So I thought it would be a bit whimsical and write funky with a PH, because as you can see, phrasal verbs is also PH instead of F. Whimsical, by the way, means irreverent or a bit silly. So, why are they funky? Well, because they're not that common. These may be less well known than other more familiar phrasal verbs. So let's have a look at some funky phrasal verbs. To pack something in, or to pack in something, means to stop. She wants to pack in smoking. She wants to stop smoking. Will you two pack it in? Imagine there are two people fighting, arguing, and you say, oh, will you two pack it in? Means would you two stop it, quit it, okay? By the way, all of these are regular, okay? So if you want to use them in the past, they're all with an ED ending. They're not irregular. Okay, what was that noise? Next, clam up means to stop talking. You know those things in the sea, clams? Maybe you do, maybe you don't. But they are ordinarily closed, so to clam up means to close your mouth. Often when you are nervous or shy, or afraid. She clammed up when the police arrived. Okay? She stopped talking when the police arrived. He clams up in front of pretty girls. This is very common. This is nerves. So he's happy to talk with his friends and his colleagues, whatever. But when there's a pretty girl, he's like, can't speak. Okie dokie. And by the way, this is double M for the past because of the single vowel, single consonant at the end. We'll talk about that in another class. Butt in means to interrupt. Now, butt with two T's is the American for bottom. But with one T, obviously, it's a contrasting conjunction. For example, I want to go to the concert, but I'm busy. But with two T's, butt in, to interrupt. He always butts in. He always interrupts. She butted in before I could explain. She interrupted before I could explain. Chicken out means to lose courage. If you've ever seen the film Back to the Future, and if you haven't, why not? It's an amazing film. Marty is always very offended by anyone who calls him a chicken. Nobody calls me chicken, says Marty McFly. You seem brave now, but I'll bet you chicken out when you get there. I'll bet you lose your courage. So he's all, oh man, no problem. I'm so cool. I can do this. And then he arrives. It's like, ah! And he chickens out. Okie dokie. And also a person who is a coward can be called a chicken. Chicken. Well, that's where it all comes from with the Marty McFly thing. I should have said that first. Spice up means to make something more interesting or more attractive. How do you spice up soup? That's a very good question. You add some more flavour to spice it up to make it more interesting, less bland. Bland means boring in terms of colour or flavour. We should spice up our relationship. Oh really? What do you have in mind? Oh, I was thinking skydiving. Okay, not that much. Jeez. Okay. Or if you've heard that band, Spice Girls, there's a song called People of the World, Spice Up Your Life, means make your life more interesting. But they don't tell us how. See? Very, very, very unfair. Okay, to lighten up means to be less serious. By the way, if there are any fans of the Spice Girls out there, no offence, I'm glad that you love the band, but not for me. Lighten up means to be less serious. This comes from a series of verbs which are adjectives plus en. For example, widen plus n, because it already ends in e, is to make more wide. To loosen means to make more loose. To tighten means to make more tight. To darken, to make more dark. To lighten can be two things. It could be to illuminate more, or it could be to make something less heavy. For example, lighten your bag, take out the laptop. Okay? But lighten up means be less serious. You need to lighten up, man. It's just a bit of fun. By the way, semicolon This is the correct way to use a semicolon, all right? A semicolon is used between two independent sentences which are connected but can be said independently. For example, I can say, you need to lighten up, end of sentence, that makes sense. Or I can say, it's just a bit of fun. And that's also a sentence which can be said on its own. So when you put those together, you separate them with a semicolon, okay? Not a comma, not a full stop, a semicolon. But the sentences have to be able to be said independently of each other, okay? For example, what are you doing? Wouldn't work because A, it's a question, but also you need more context, okay? He lightened up after a drink, okay? He was all uptight and tense. He had a drink and he became much more jovial, much more chatty. Okie dokie. There you go, some funky phrasal verbs. I will be back, I don't know when, but I have more of these, so no doubt I'll be back to give you more phrasal verbs, but I also have phrases and interesting verbs as well. So subscribe to the channel. I've got loads of English videos on my channel. I used to do them every single day until I lost inspiration and motivation. So go to my channel and look for playlists and you'll see all my videos in a nice, neat order. So you can watch those. Hit like if you like, thank you very much. Leave a comment if you have any doubts or questions and share this with anyone you know who's learning English because it would be good for them. I'll see you for another video. Have a lovely day. Bye bye.